Well, if you click on this video, then you are very lucky because I'm about to tell you how I made my very own main character in a series. Also, if you guys complain about the episode 3, I swear I won't make it, but it is in production. It's about a collab, so please stop harassing me. But anyways, that's off topic, and let's just get into the video. So back then, when it was literally 2021, I was literally bored out of my mind because it was the most boring year that I've ever experienced. And then a day again popped up in my head, and I wanted to watch a movie. And the first thing that I see in a movie is Dumbo, which I haven't watched in a while. So I go ahead and watch it, and I get reminded of Locomotive. And yes, you guessed it, it was Casey Jr. And yes, like any kid would do, I turned it into an OC, which is Jade. But I wanted to add some details and lore. So, of course, when the Brave Locomotive that came out late in 2023 came out, I added the lore back to Jade, but I made it a little different from the lore. And also, I'm not going to explain the whole lore. I'm just going to explain, some parts. So, it just goes for, the same lore as, Linus from, the Brave Locomotive. He saves an engine, he dies, and then he gets repaired. That's kind of, the same thing for Jade. But then later, he gets hired for a circus, and now, he's running the railway. Not running the railway, running the circus train now. But I wasn't satisfied about, that. And I had an idea if I could make, a series of it. And, my good old pal, Medic Productions, he actually got me an idea for that. And then, boom, the first episode of Jade's World was made. But the game was so trashy, So the game I used this in a series that I used to was called Blue Train for Friends before it, was, discontinued. And, Jade in the game was, oh, he was so bad. But of course, what any kid would do to find a solution, because I hated this so bad, I was even ashamed to make another one, because, this was so terrible, and, I didn't really like making faces. I really wasn't really good at making models ever, because, I'm not a type of guy that would just, build stuff. I am planning to do that, though. But then I had the most dumbest idea of who can be a controller, and I was literally so embarrassed that even a class, literally was, trying not to laugh. And it was a Gorilla Tag controller. And yes, it did have some lore for it as well, but I'd rather not get into it because it's so corny that even I feel embarrassed trying to make a lore for it. But then I continued to try to make these episodes, but at this point I just gave up, and boom, the series was canceled. And then I was relieved to cancel it because it was the most embarrassing thing I ever made. But then a couple of months passed by, and then I see a very interesting game that is called Tom Toys. But then I went to check out the game, and sadly, Hadwin was not added, because that's how I needed to, use, my OC, the main character for the series. So at that point, I gave up and waited until finally he was added. And so now I replaced the old series with this one, and now I am actually happy. Well, this is all it for today because I don't want to explain anymore. I might as well just do a part 2 if I can, but this is it for now. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this video. I'm trying to reach at least 50 subs so I can start live streaming. So please, speed, I need this.